Hi folks, we are back on the War Thunder dev server taking a look at the Mig-21 Bison. This is going to be a new premium at battle rating 12.0 in rank 8 of the British tech tree. There's no indication yet if this is going to be purchasable for GEs or if it's going to be part of an overpriced pack like the F-20 Tiger Shark was. Now, the Mig-21 Bison is... out in the real world, it is essentially the ultimate version of the MiG-21. It was upgraded for the Indian Air Force in the late 90s and early 2000s, and it's acquitted itself extremely well in military exercises against far more advanced aircraft. I was very excited when I saw this in the trailer. This will definitely be getting a full review once the patch goes live. We have a full ballistics computer, you can see there. Also, the Tarang radar warning receiver. That is a fully modern direction-based unit. It replaces the old SPO series that was in the older models of MiG-21s. And we have the Cockpit 21 radar set, which might look familiar to some people. The interesting thing about this combination here, you can see we've got helmet-mounted targeting on the pilot, but not on the radar. That means we can use the helmet-mounted targeting to slave infrared missile seekers, but not the radar dish. So we can't use the helmet-mounted targeting for radar, the helmet-mounted sight for radar targeting, but we can use it for our infrared missiles. So it's a little bit of an interesting combination. It might be a departure from what some folks are used to. Still good. The Cockpit 21 is a relatively modern radar set. It's got some interesting features that are not itemized here on the stat card. I'm going to show you in a second. It can target ground vehicles and targets on the ground. It's one of the very few radars with a ground targeting mode. So that'll be kind of interesting. Now, let's take a look at the weapons. This is where things get kind of neat. It's a MiG-21, so still only 4 weapon stations. However, centerline drop tank, you can take up to 3 of them if you really want. This thing can actually have a respectable amount of fuel. Both versions of the R-27, the base R-27, not the E's, and the R-73. So very credible air-to-air weapons here. In addition to the CAB 500KR, this is the TV-guided bomb. This will really give this MiG-21 version here a really credible sort of a capability for close air support and multi-role ground attack. This is going to be a very well-rounded aircraft, even though the limited quantity of weapons might hold back the the damage potential per sortie. On an individual basis, it's going to be doing pretty good. But let me get into a test here. I want to show you one thing that's kind of interesting before I go out into a match. Okay, so we're out over a test battle here. This is just full of bots with the Mig-21 Bison, and I want you to look at the radar display. We're in ground targeting mode. So this radar set has the ability to detect and target moving objects on the ground. I want to stress moving objects. So all those little blips you're seeing on the radar display are like moving tanks on the ground. It's not super accurate up close, and it's not necessarily especially useful for getting a target lock, like, for example, guiding these to target these TV-guided bombs. You can, but the accuracy isn't really too great. In my opinion, it's going to be a little bit more useful just for, like, detecting targets that haven't necessarily been scouted by your teammates. But the capability is there. And incidentally, having played around with this a little bit, yeah, see here, I've got a radar lock on a ground target. How badass is that? The capabilities of this radar set that I talked about in my complete radar tutorial is still current as of playing around with this on the dev server. So the information I presented in my radar tutorial about ground targeting mode radar, unless they make some major changes, that's going to be how the Cockpit 21 works here on the Mig-21 Bison. All right, I'm going to take this out into a regular match. Okay, so we're flying out into a live match with the Mig-21 Bison. You can see it put me into a game that's already in progress, but there's still some stuff left. I might be able to get an engagement or two here. And there are a couple of things I want to show you, even if this particular match is a little bit of a bust. Check this out. Look at this cockpit. This is a Mig-21. Look at this. It's beautiful. Radar warning receiver right where I like it. Multifunction displays. The instruments are all very large and easy to spot and read. The heads-up display, very large graphics. You know, like when you zoom in, you don't have to struggle to read the display or anything. And the visibility is significantly improved over some of the earlier MiG-21s. I am a big fan of this cockpit. All right, let's get back here. Now, there is one other thing I do want to show you. Take a look at the radar display for a second here. This is a gripe I've had with a lot of different aircraft and like the UI for the radar. So I'm in search pulse Doppler mode, and I can hit my cycle modes to get into track while scan, right? But if I want to go back to just regular search pulse Doppler, there is no keybind to just jump right back to it. I have to cycle through all of these different radar modes manually until I get back to it. That's a little bit of a chore, especially in something like this Mig-21 Bison that's going to have the ground targeting modes that you have to cycle through in addition to the regular air targeting modes. So operating the radar system is going to be a little bit more of a chore than in some other aircraft. But with that said, let's see if I can go in and actually get a kill here with one of these R-27s. I'm a little far away. It looks like this match is almost over. This may end up being a bust, but if nothing else, I got to show you the cockpit and talk about the radar system. And I'll make sure I get at least one good live match for you before I send this up. And I am still way out of range. This is an R-27R, not an ER. Oh, this is another thing I'll show you. Let me ditch that lock. So, as I mentioned, I have the helmet-mounted targeting for the Seeker, but there is, if I go into bore sight mode here, there is no bore sight mode that switches to the helmet-mounted targeting for the radar dish. So that is something to keep in mind. Alright, this mission's kind of a bust. I'm going to fly out into another one. Okay, so I'm out in another match with the Mig-21 Bison. Again, it joined me into a match in progress where most of my team has gotten their butts kicked. So, don't expect any miracles out of me here. But my gut tells me that the Mig-21 Bison, and I'm already getting launched on, that's probably an AMRAAM. My gut tells me that the Mig-21 Bison is going to be a little bit more of like a close-in dogfighter rather than a medium-range missile thrower, even though it's got the R-27s. So I'm going to try and position myself for some like closer range shots, maybe getting close, do a Hobbs or two with these R-73s. That's assuming I can get there. That'll be the challenge. And I might be able to engage that J8. Yeah, he's turning around, so maybe not. He's running from that Su-27, that's what he's doing. Which is probably a good move. And it looks like he took a hit. So I'm just going to get down low. Sorry, I'm still feeling a little sick. I'm going to get down low and just try and zip into the battlefield. Maybe I'll find one of these guys who's still alive. Okay, I've got an F-16. It looks like he's probably engaging me. It might be that same guy from before. I'm just gonna dunk into this canyon. Because screw that. Yeah, how's your AMRAAM doing now? Of course, I have no idea what's going to be waiting for me when I pop out of here. Nice double-edged sword. But I saw on the way in here, I saw a MiG-29 visually, and I saw the F-16 on my radar warning receiver. That is a missile, almost certainly. That was an AI plane. Okay, there's those guys. And he's going to be behind the terrain. That should be a pretty solid, safe shot. Oh no, what happened there? That wasn't good. When in doubt, go in for the smack. Oh jeez, we got a missile thrower up ahead. See if I can get him with the R-27. I still got at least one enemy plane unaccounted for. Got him. Let me get out of bore sight. And that is probably a plane. I've got one R-73 left. That is definitely enough for a good, credible attack. Yeah, I think I might have saw some flares deploying over there in the distance. There we go. F4F. I don't know if that is going to be the new F4F ICE or not. I don't know how those are labeled. But I've got helmet-mounted targeting, so I don't even need to do anything special to target this guy. I just got to make sure that that F-16 way out yonder isn't going to come screw me up. And this guy's letting me catch him. I mean, I'm just gonna zip in on him here. He may know what I'm up to, but I mean, he's gonna take the shot. Oh no, game crash. Come on. Okay, so the dev server client crashed on me mid-match there. The dev server, I apologize, the dev server client this time around has been especially unstable. It's been, like, just playing around with the user interface, it's been crashing all over the place, so I don't know what's going on. In any case, I'm sure from what I showed you, you can get a rough idea of maybe what to expect out of the Mig-21 Bison here. I gotta tell you, I'm a fan of the Mig-21, and I'm really excited for this plane. At BR-12, I don't know. It's got the weapon system. The quantity of weapons is going to be a little low, so this isn't going to be something you fly out to carry the team in an air match with. But I'm pretty optimistic about how this ends up performing once we get it into the live game, and depending on how much it costs, I might actually get it. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching.